A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us for the Friday edition of the show. It's the last one for the week. We'll try our best to make it worth your while. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Thanks again for joining us. A lot on our plate tonight. We're going to be talking about an issue of interest to many people. It's been dividing opinion. Yesterday, the news broke out that Van Dressa Football Club pulled out of the Nigeria National League. And as we promised yesterday, we'll devote a lot of time to talk about that issue and look at it, try to get both sides and try to understand. We'll do our best to dig deep into all that happened and see if there's a way to resolve the impasse. We're going to do that for you on the show tonight. We're also going to take a look at what's happening around in Nigeria. We're going to look at plans for the Olympics. We'll continue with our countdown to the Tokyo Olympics. We will also talk about the English Premier League, the FA Cup, the Copa del Rey. If time permits, we'll go to Monte Carlo and talk about what happened today. King of Clay, Rafael Nadal, got knocked out of the Monte Carlo Masters. And guess who did it? Andre Rublev got the job done. We'll talk about all of that for you. That's the outlook of the show tonight. Let's bring you into all that we're doing before I introduce my studio guests, the ready, of course, and to give you all the updates and give you fresh information about the things happening in your world of sports. But in case you're wondering, how do I talk on the show? How do I, get my views across? This is what you need to do. You can send us a mail, sportstonight@channelstv.com. Get across to us on Facebook for your comments, Channels for Sports. Then you can also tweet at the handle on your screen, @channels_sports. That's just the way you can be a part of the show. Let's fill your polls. Talk to us on all the issues, everything sports and in between. Talk to us on all of those things tonight as we move on. It's time to introduce my studio guest to you tonight as we move on. Let me also quickly say that at some point, also Okona Akman as well will join us. But in the studio with me right now, seated close to me to my right. Of course, this is what you need to do to be part of it, just on your screen. But seated close to me to my right and possibly your left, Kingsley Odofia joins me tonight. First time, I think?
Yeah, definitely first time.
All right. Thanks for joining me on the show tonight.
It's a pleasure being here tonight.
All right. And this man, he's been around, but it's been a while since we saw him here with us live in the studio. So, in a way, it's good to welcome him back. Alfred Okoliwe, thanks for joining us today live, not from home.
Thank you very much, Amy. I mean, technology has made it a bit easier, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. And thank God I'm here today, and I'm excited.
All right. So we're all excited to talk about all the things happening in your amazing, fast-paced, money-speeding world of sports. Well, let me get the thoughts of the guys in the studio while we try to walk around getting, for every issue, there are two sides. So we'll do our best to get the two sides. While we're working on that, let me just get the guys in the studio talking. Alfred, quick one, because at some point we'll have to revert to listen to some of those guys that talked about how did the news hit you? Did you see it coming? Van Dressa announcing, putting out a statement, citing a lot of reasons, but in all, the pulling out of the Nigerian National League. Did that surprise you in a bit?
Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard. That one, it was too bad. It was a bad case. In terms of if a team is coming with so much innovation, so much in terms of bringing so much in terms of value to the table, and this kind of thing
privately owned.
I mean, it's time for everybody to say, hey, let's stop. What really is happening here? Is it that, how be that the good ones get to suffer this kind of things? But in other way, this is, whether you like it or not, this is organized football. There are rules to games, and there are processes and procedures to follow to ensure that whatever it is that you are not happy with, you ventilate this and expect that you get the reprieve that you. Association football is something that you can always put your point across, and perhaps maybe, just maybe, that's my thoughts anyway, that where Van Dressa are presently and the things that they're trying to do, perhaps maybe the situation or the environment might say, hey, this is going too far. It's not the usual thing that we used to do.
All right.
We are not used to it. It will take time for people to come around to say, okay, this is the way it ought to be. And for that, for any change, you expect disruptions. You expect people to fight against it,
All right.
and all of that. That's what's playing out here.
Okay, let me get Kingsley's thoughts. I don't know if you're on the same page with Alfred. Did it surprise you as well? The reasons given, you think there are valid reasons for anybody to look up and say, okay, I'm pulling out of this?
Well, I think personally my thought on this is that Van Dresa, as a team that they are, coming into the Nigerian football terrain, it shows that they are a well-organized side. It shows that they are a side, coming in, that they know what they are coming in to do. They have a vision, and they've been running with this vision, and as such, this vision at some point, which is where we are right now, did not align with what the NLL has to offer them. And as such, they have to pull out. I mean, it's surprising, for the first time in our country that somebody who have to pull out from, and organize some competition like this. Nobody saw it coming, but personally I would say, Van Dresa, kudos to you. If you have a vision that you've been running with and this doesn't align with your vision, I think you've taken the best decision that is best for you at this point.
There's going to be a lot of, even before we start talking about casualties, because a lot of questions, and that's why I'm trying to understand. For instance, the players, who paid the players? The players who, went like the what we see here in local parlance that went to elephants fight, the grass will suffer on one side. But there's also, like I said, the divides opinion. There's also the argument in some quarters that if you signed up, read the rules properly, even if what you want to do is good, it still has to be with a framework. And that's what has been thrown at Van Dresa by some people and said, you signed up for this, you knew the rules, even though the innovations you're trying to come with, they're very good, but you should understand the rules you're playing with. Let me get Alfred's thought on that. When you hear that, what do you say to that?
I mean, in association football, there are rules and there are framework to follow to play this to play organized football, and that is what it's. I mean, you might come with the loftiest of ideas, and somehow there are people who are in the corridors of the administration of the game in the country. They are just within, they know where the loopholes are. It's just like
just waiting.
Just waiting to, I mean, if you go by the books, this is what the book says. This is what is written, the written matter. And each time you go to maybe arbitration or you want to pursue a case, they'll tell you that if you read the rules, this is exactly what the rules. And I think that's the point. I mean, I was listening to, I mean, not to preempt his comment on George this morning, and he just said that the NNL, they might not get the kind of support they get from it. Perhaps they hold on, pull out of the league, look at other options of engaging with Nigerian football. But like you said, if you have that kind of money coming in, all right, or they want us to believe that kind of money is coming into our football, and they want to transform lives. And the good thing is, I mean, the argument you might say, we can always say that the rules are there. This is what to do. And the lacuna in the rule is what a lot of people exploit to take us back or draw football back. They are there. But if these people have this kind of money, they have this kind of structure that will help not only Van Dresa, because whether you like it or not, the games that they are streaming, if somebody, maybe a scout or somebody elsewhere, looks at it, it's not only looking at Van Dresa players, he's looking at the opposition, he's looking at the other players. So it offers, generally, the incentive is for everybody, and not only to Van Dresa. I think that should be, for us, that should be the standard.
That should be.
That should be the standard that we should follow.
I still want to push the issue of the players to a side. It's very important. We're going to spend a lot of time. But I want to put you on the spot, because there's something coming to my mind while Alfred was talking, Kingsley. Yeah. Is this, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to play devil's advocate. Is this a publicity stunt, or you think there's no way back? Once you do this, you can't go. So do you think it's a publicity stunt, or you think, no, once they put out this, for sure, they're not coming back?
Well, I don't think it is a publicity stunt because, like I mentioned earlier, this is a site that's well organized. They have a framework.
So basically, you don't see a way back in all of this?
No, I don't think there's a way back in all of this because, like you mentioned, the rules are there already, to guide all parties involved in it. And Van Dresa, before signing up to this, they read the rules, I believe, and they understood the rules quite clearly. And pulling out at this point, I don't think there's a way back in again for them.
All right, I think it's only fair. They put out a statement. Let me try and take an excerpt from that statement. I'll try to read it. Obviously, I can't read everything, but just to set the tone for that, and hopefully we'll work around getting the critical stakeholders we wanted to talk to. According to a statement on their website, Van Dresser says the decision to pull out becomes imperative in view of the fact that the management and board of the Nigerian National League, as presently constituted, has demonstrated enough resolve and communicated same to them in clear terms that the club's transformation agenda is not in any way needed in the lower tier leagues. That sums up the statement put out by Van Dresser, and they went out to list out their grievances and some of the things that they felt could have been better managed, could have been addressed, and it wasn't done, and that is why. But I'll be interested to know if both parties can still sit down, because if you look at it from, if you take an impartial stance, if you try to be objective, both sides will gain if everything works well. That's where I stand. And if this party ends before it begins, both sides will still lose.
That's exactly so. They specifically mentioned the MPFL. Perhaps maybe their thoughts are that this is not the first time we've seen teams pull out of the league setup. I mean, at some point in time, Leventis United, Abiola Babes did it. At that point, what we were told was that Iwayo National was to go that route too, but somehow Chief Emmanuel Iwayo said, okay, let's just continue. And from then onwards, it became Iwayo. I think the next 3 seasons, when that happened, they won the league. I mean, you will expect that sometimes when people come into a setup and they want to, because what they bring in is like disrupting the system. We have been so used, so comfortable with the way our football is structured. Now the question is, with the way we organize, the way we play our football, is it how it ought to be in the 21st century? That's the question. And when these guys come and they want to, come with this disruptive, if you like, influence, having games shown live, a lot of branding go into it. Strategic branding in such a way that sometimes you see their games on TV, you ask yourself, hey, is this really game being played in Nigeria? I mean, those are the things that I think should be replicated in all the clubs.
Yes.
But what do you get? You get people making fun of them. The other day, you were beaten by a club, beat them, and they were shouting 8 cameras and the rest of them, making all those kind of... I mean, those are banters where you expect it. But if we have this kind of thing...
It's a reflection of where we are.
It's really reflection of where we are. I expect that clubs will be helping or looking at, hey, how best can we replicate what these guys are doing? Because this is a new club. You might say the fan base is not there in terms of the physical fans that come out to see them. But what have the route of taking this, that they've taken the social media, engaging a lot of people, doing market storms, I mean, meeting Nigerians at the new technology is, and that's why the MPFL now these days is on your smartphone. Yeah. That's where, and they're meeting people there because somehow football gives you that sense of you watch and you get fulfillment. You want to be part of this, especially if it's exciting. What we have presently does not fill in that gap. And once these guys come, I should expect that we will either look at what they're doing. I mean, for other clubs, look at what they're doing. If you don't have people who have the expertise to replicate something like that, hey, go out there, look for them. And I'm sure there are 1,001 Nigerians who will, if given the opportunity, in the Nigerian football space, as limited in terms of recruitment that you say it is presently, there are guys with fantastic ideas who are doing things on social media front, on the media front, on every aspect of it to reposition. But we're not taking advantage. So when things like this happen, I expect the leadership of Nigerian football at this point to say, hey, wait, what is happening? Let's look at what.
You're even talking about the leadership of the NFL. I expected that once that Van Dresser statement came out, in a few hours, I expected the NFL to put out something and stop letting us go into all of this.
So to be fair to them, they said they've not received any formal notification as at this evening. I know I spoke to the...
but the information is out there.
I mean, it's out there in the open, but you have not told us. As far as we are concerned, to get a notice from you.
I don't know what you make of, because we have to leave this matter and move on. Hopefully, when we sort ourselves out and get those guys to talk to us, we'll come back to it. But in final analysis, where does this leave all of us?
I think it's a disgraceful one so far for me, because you know, like I mentioned, it's a team that came in with so much promises.
Yes.
You know, and one would have thought that with what they are coming with, that the NNL, you know, would capitalize on this, you know, grow the NNL brand, you know, maybe not to the standard of the MPFL,
but at
least grow to a certain extent. But that hasn't been the case as of what we have on ground today. I'm hugely disappointed in that, I must say.
Yeah, a lot of people are, you know, disappointed with the current situation. But hopefully we get to listen to both sides, because it's very important to put this in context. That, just like Alfred rightly pointed out, the NLL obviously letting us know that, okay, it's out there, but no formal notification. I mean, this issue is beginning to divide opinion, and I think the critical stakeholders need to do something, you know, so that we don't start filling in the gaps and giving things interpretation that it's not necessary. Let's move on the show, but trust me, we'll come back to this when we are able to, you know, get those guys we talked about earlier. Let's talk about what the NFF is doing. Let's talk about the MPFL under 15 promises. I mean, it's something that got us excited a while ago, and now it's back on the scene. We're going to show you some clips. Canopilas beats Lobby Stars. I mean, not the PFL sides. the under 15 promises. You know, these teams are expected to have feeder teams. They're expected to have cadet teams, which is the standard all across the globe. So that this is happening, and I'm very happy. Result on the day. Canopilas beats Lobby Stars 3-0. I don't know about Alfred, but I'm excited that at least we get to see this. We're moving in the right direction if we can sustain it.
Yes, if we can really sustain it. It was in Lagos a few years back. I know I watched the Lagos event to the end. This is MPFL promise. I mean, this, like you said, is the direction to go. Now, whether this is just, okay, bring the players, complete this competition. At the end of the day, everybody is on his own. We know how clubs elsewhere are organized in terms of having nurseries of, I mean, they always boast of the players that came through their nursery, from the under 9s to the under 12, the 15, and it cascades to that top. They always boast of it. It will really be nice if, for example, 4 or 5 years ago, when this MPFL promise was played, and they say, okay, 5 years later, this guy has, you know, made it to the first team, graduated to the first team of the MPFL side. So it's all good. Maybe it's just for the tournament, but this is something the clubs, I think for the LMC, they've provided the leverage. This is something that the clubs,
like a framework.
Yes, a framework, how they work.
How it should be done.
Do this thing properly. And at the end of the day, even if the guys don't make it to the first team, you've created a platform. It's okay, I honed my skills at this academy. This is where I developed my talent. This is where and so that's the route to go. It's nice to see, whether I like it or not, these young men, competitions like this kind of have an impression on them.
Keeps them active. Yeah. Let's just listen to some reaction from this event. It took place in Imo State and Enugu. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Enugu. And we'll go on a break and come back for more Sports Tonight.
So I feel very happy because our boys play according to the instruction, despite the challenges we are facing. Like all our boys are passing today. For the last 2 editions, we didn't qualify from the group stage. So we challenged the boys this time around. So we've learned, we organize, we coordinate the boys so to make sure that they qualify from the group stage.
The motive is not by winning, but is to bring these youth players out here of that age so that they can showcase themselves, so that tomorrow they will have a better living for themselves. So I'm impressed with them. I'm so happy for their play, because you look at my opponent are bigger than my boys, but that is not a point. The point is that I have brought them here. Any of them that is suit into the national team of under 15 should be selected. I am not looking forward for the trophy. My main objective is for selection of the players. La Liga in every year select 1 or 2 of them to Spain. So I'm looking forward for that. I'm not looking forward for the trophy.
Well, like, I mean, every other years that we have, done this, it's been awesome. It's been, very good. We could see that, we have talent in Nigeria, and all the clubs, MPFL clubs, they are having this. And that, that's just, the essence of, bringing up, talents so that, all our clubs, can have, youth, development, youth, team, and we can develop our youth for the future. La Liga is part of it because La Liga wants to be part of the development of all its partners, and it's just the way it is done in Spain, and we just replicate and brought it here, and for our players to develop very well and grow, and we have a very good team in the future.
All right, welcome back. A little housekeeping detail. Not that we're trying to blow our trumpet, but just let me quickly remind you that some of the names produced in this competition, some of them have passed through the Channels International Kiss Cup. Names like Koma Million was at the 2013 Channels Kiss Cup, was MVP, went on to represent Rangers in the 2017 edition of this under 15 MPFL La Liga, under 15 promises. You also have Peter Joel, was MVP 2015, and he participated in the same competition, represented, played for Delta Force, was the 2019 MVP. So if we can monitor, keep track of these young players, we're beginning to see results. Just rivers here and there, little, can make an ocean if we put all of these things together. So it's good, and hopefully we get to see all of these things work out. All right, we're going to move on. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have that conversation we wanted to have, having both sides, Vandresa FC and the Nigerian National League. Maybe we'll get to do that some other time. It appears that we're not going to be able to do it today. The reasons, I don't know yet, but we'll communicate that to you as we go on. But also Konakman is with us. Let's bring him in to the discussion. He's been listening in, and he's been monitoring all the things that we've been saying. Greetings to you, Austin. Thanks for joining us on the show. We're very happy you're here with us. You've listened to us, quite a few things that we've talked about. Your thoughts, basically.
For the greetings to you, Yemi, and of course the guys in the studio, and to our viewers. It's good to be on the show. Pretty disappointing what has happened with Vandresa and the NNL. We've looked at it, and I've tried to, check the losses. And in the end, it is Nigerian football that is losing. Vandresa got into the league, and then rules are rules, So if the NNL are looking for or found a reason to find Vandresa, and Vandresa isn't seeing that reason, then I think it's a problem of understanding the framework guiding the operations of the league, or communication is just faulty somewhere. The NNL gave Vandresa approval to stream games. And you said they should live stream it. I think what they needed to have done was communicate this properly. Vandresa had issues with that live streaming at Osun United. It became a viral issue. They suffered the same thing when they went to Calabar Rovers. They were stopped, but the intervention of the state government, they allowed them. But the main issue occurred when they went to Omoku to play go-round. Go-round said, we are the home team. For you to stream this home match, you need to pay us 1 million naira. Vandresa says, we have approval from the league, so we can't pay you. And according to their statement, they reached out to the NNL, say, look at what we're suffering at go-round, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying this story, just to let us know that we can't keep doing football like this. If we keep saying we want to create a business environment that will thrive, bring private investors into our league, we must know what we are doing. Yeah. And the NNL is tagged the most important league in the country. because that's where you grow into the MPFL. Van Dresser can't understand why they are being fined 1 million after they said everything they had to say to the NNL. Maybe they could have said, okay, let us go on to play the match and we'll not live stream. But then again, they believe it was against the approval or the license that they got from the NNL. Communication, as basic as it is, can ruin anything. And that is what I'm saying in this situation. But does it hurt me? It does, because I get people call me, even in the UK, to say, Austin, I went to Agege, just the little packaging that I saw that Van Dresser is doing is good for our league. Yeah, me, that's what you and I, Alfred, and every follower of the league, that's what we want to see. Van Dresser live stream these matches. Yeah, me, we're both in the broadcast media. Think about the cost that they spend to even get about 8 cameramen every match day. That alone is progress. That alone is somebody investing. And I'm saying this tonight. It's a challenge to other state clubs. If Van Dresser was doing this thing in an hostile environment, it means it can be done. Why are we not doing it? We have been playing highlights of Van Dresser matches. Why can't other state clubs do it? Or even other clubs? Austin, that is the first step towards branding the league.
I know. We could go on and on talking about these issues, and I can tell that a lot of people are as pained as you are about all of this, and I'm just hoping that the stakeholders, as much as we're saying all of these things, will come before us and talk about these things, and hopefully there will be an amicable resolution. But we have to leave it at that. We can go on and on, but we have to leave it at that for now. This is hoping that the guys are listening to us and will not shy away from another opportunity when they get that opportunity to tell the world what exactly is going on. All right, let's move on and talk about another event that is not without its own problems, but they're finding ways to handle it. Let's talk about the Olympics, Tokyo 2020, to be held in 2021, 98 days to go. 98 days to go. That's official from us here. The organizers are telling us it's going to happen. Nothing will stop. Increasing cases of COVID-19 notwithstanding, the Olympics will go ahead as planned. That's what the organizers are letting us know. And we're here just to tell you that it's 98. It's less than 100 days, and everything is hotting up. Let's quickly talk about the torch relay. Alfred and Kingsley, the torch relay, of course, held without the normal pomp and pageantry. You can see that people are not lining the streets as they used to. And of course, I mean, we all understand COVID-19 is the reason why. I mean, there are even some cities that say, can you skip our city? Don't just come to our city. But this torch relay is symbolic to the Olympics. It has to be held, whether or not things are, I mean, just look at how, I mean, even though it's a public event, there's still social distancing, trying to space themselves, and all of that. We're in a very unique situation, but I'm very happy the Olympics will be held.
These are, like you said, these are interesting times. I mean, COVID has COVID, no doubt, has changed the world and changed a lot of the ways that we do things. I think, I mean, that human can do spirit of, when you hit, even if you fall, you stand up and rise again. We just want to, it's just a question of, I'm telling everybody that we can do it. I recall a few weeks ago, we were asking if the National Sports Festival will hold or not. And I told that, and I think I was very emphatic. Yes, I was very emphatic that, hey, when it comes to, especially when you've mobilized people just want to go out there and yes, we understand that the risk is out there. It's not perfect times, but I mean, how long can you lock the people up? And hopefully, the measures that they put in place will work. At the end of the day, whether I like it or not, we all can be in Japan. We all can be there. And technology also can leverage on it. Television is there. If you go there, create the environment, let's have this competition and everybody and move on with our lives.
All right. Kingsley, your thoughts on all of this?
Well, I
you
think,
can see the pictures, a whole lot of things, people not attending, and trying to simulate the environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's very symbolic, like Alfred mentioned there. The Olympic torch has to go out. It has to touch major cities, across the world, and then return back to the host city. But having said that, man is a social being. There is a limit to which you can tame a man. But then we're being confronted with COVID at this point all over the world. But nevertheless, we've been able to find a way around it. Been able to find a way to host major events, major competition, and the Olympic is not going to be left out of it. So I think it's a good one that the torch has taken off and is going to go around major cities across the world and return to the host city.
All right, 44 regions in Tokyo that this torch relay is going to pass. And we're going to be, we're beginning to see some test events being cancelled here and there. But the organizers are still saying you're going to see a world-class event as far as they are concerned. So that's what they've been talking about. All right, let's just come to Nigeria and talk about what is happening in Nigeria. The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has confirmed that home-based athletes are expected to camp in Lagos and Port Harcourt in preparation for the Tokyo Olympics. Following the successful conclusion of the 20th National Sports Festival on Wednesday, the ministry says all attention will now shift to the global sports competition scheduled to hold from July the 23rd to August the 8th. The ministry also adds that it is also closely monitoring the preparation of foreign-based athletes in Florida, United States. So let's just quickly listen to what the sports ministry has to say about the preparation of Team Nigeria now that we are done with the National Sports Festival.
Preparation is a continuum. It's never stopped. We never stopped preparing because of National Sports Festival. Even during COVID-19, we never stopped. We provided support for most of our athletes. Some of them went into private gyms. Some foreign-based ones came here. They were in Akure for several months. We followed up with them. And you've seen some of the performances of our athletes, even out there. The Road to Sorrows of this world, they're doing wonderfully well. So that preparation continues. And we have every assurance that we'll try to maintain a 60 to 70-day camping. In the past, we had like 25, 30 days. We want to see whether we can double that.
All right, Sports Minister Sunday Diary, letting us in on preparation of Team Nigeria. Let me go to Austin and let me hear what he makes of that. I personally thought that we're going to use the facilities in Edo State, Benin City, to be precise. But what do I know? What do I know? It's going to be Lagos and Port Harcourt. So what do you make of that? I'm very happy with information getting out as quickly as possible. We're talking about Team Nigeria and a whole lot of things.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I thought, because the athletes were already in Edo and they said good things about Edo. Like, yes, they were just going to, get on with it. Facilities are still, new and in good condition, so they could just use it. But then again, this is Nigeria. This is progress. If different states can host, then it's fine. So I know in Port Harcourt we have the High Performance Center, and they've been using it for some time now to prepare for the Olympics. So it doesn't come as new to me. Lagos has also got good facilities at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. So the ministry, I'm sure, making those choices, they would have, really put into consideration. But years before the National Sports Festival, the same ministry told us that the athletes would just continue winning. Can you remember when they said that to us?
Yeah, I do.
So now,
I do, actually,
with this choice, so with this choice now, nothing wrong with Lagos and Port Harcourt, hosting the home-based athletes to prepare for the competition. But yes, you'd expect that since they were already in Benin for the National Sports Festival, and then we've said good things about the facilities there, and maybe they might just continue there. In fact, it will aid logistics for them to just continue. But you heard the minister right there, and it's saying it's all for the good of the home-based athletes to prepare for the Olympics. But let me just quickly say something about the Olympics before we get away from this. A top politician in Japan, his name is Toshiro Nikai, is the Secretary General of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party. He has said they should just cancel this Olympics without hesitation. That with the way things are going, don't go and increase people's hopes. COVID-19 keep rising, and then you now go and put yourself into a quagmire. So he's saying, do this thing now and explain to everybody that this is what it's. So I thought I should just mention this.
Yeah, you should.
So you see that dark cloud I told you
It's
about
still
that is
hovering
hovering around
around.
this Olympics is still right there.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good one. Not just him. Tokyo, 70% of Tokyo residents actually don't even want the Olympics as of now. But like we always say, ahead of major sporting events, you get all of this. Some days down the line, things change. But we'll see. We keep monitoring. But we're still on the Olympics, Austin. Guys, United States has always been the envy of everybody. Because they're always well prepared. They always put up a near flawless preparation for major events. Now let's talk about the U.S. And Ralph Lauren designed the uniforms. And you're going to see the pictures. And like I said, the United States always been the envy of many. And just look at what they've put together. I mean, look, I wish I could get my hands on some of these things. Colorful designs depicting the United States, the colors, everything put together by that design outfit. And of course, what they're going to use for the closing ceremony, the opening ceremony, and the guys put it on display for the world to see. And like I said, they're always the envy of everyone. And these guys are fully prepared. I'm hoping we'll get to see Team Nigeria do this before they leave the shores of Nigeria. This is the way to go.
We've done it before.
Of course we have.
Going to the World Cup. Sometimes,
I think even in 2012 we did,
to carry the
but
torch for future generations.
maybe not in this fashion. But we did
the last Olympics in Brazil, we had something like this. But the only problem was that the equipment arrived after the closing ceremony. We've had it. The one that we were to use in Rio, in Rio for the Olympics, arrived after the opening ceremony. So it's not as if we've not had.
And for Team USA, you have all these top designer outfits running over themselves just to be the one to do this for the United States. It's a top brand.
We have designers in Nigeria too. Do they get the patronage? Do we, as a matter of policy,
give it to them?
Give it to them. Make it.
Or not just go to one store and buy.
Bring it home. Empower somebody. Give us design. Make it open. You can even do an open thing. Send us design. Let's settle for one. We say this one is probably Nigerian brand. This is probably Nigeria.
And just to read part of what they put out, Ralph Lauren worked to use more sustainable materials and manufacturing practices across the Team USA collection. I mean, did everything that is unique to the environment. Kingsley, are you hoping that we get to see something like this from Team Nigeria?
Oh, definitely. I'm hoping that too, because in time past, like you mentioned, at going to the World Cup in Russia, we came up with
football event.
Yeah, that was a football event. Yeah,
multi-sport like the Olympics.
Oh, sure. But citing an example from that one. Yeah, we went out there to the World Cup. I think we were the best team with the best
outfit.
Exactly, going there. But I'm really hoping that Team Nigeria will come through, with something unique, with something more Nigerian, going to the Olympics.
Doesn't necessarily have to be like US.
Exactly, doesn't necessarily have to be like US or that top country. Exactly, just have to be something that represents Nigeria going into the Olympics. I'm really looking forward to that. Like we've done, I think, in the 2012 Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah, we had something that represented Nigeria out through.
Okay, we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, it will be football all the way. But of course, we need to talk about U.S. sprinter Chris Coleman. We'll talk about what happened to him, the decision by the Court of Arbitration for Sports. We'll do all of that when we return from this break. Welcome back. Before I go to Austin, let me quickly take this out of the way. World 100 meters champion Christian Coleman of the U.S. has had his 2-year ban for breaching anti-doping whereabout rules reduced to 18 months by the Court of Arbitration for Sports on Friday. That's today. But here's the catch. He's still going to miss the Olympics. That's the sad one. He's still going to miss the Olympics. Even though they admit that, well, he missed those, but they feel that it was clean. But of course, he breached the rules. He missed We'll talk about this much in detail later on, but of course there's a lot to talk about, so we need to. But just to tell you that you won't see him at the Olympics, bottom line. All right, let me go to Austin quickly. Austin, this is going to be your parting shot on the show. Currently, a game is going on in the English Premier League. Tottenham and Everton is 2-2, 86 minutes played. That's the situation report for that one. But FA Cup matches and, of course, the Copa del Rey tomorrow in a minute. Just give us what you think is going to happen in a minute. We're pressed for time. That's a Chelsea, Manchester City, Leicester, and Southampton. Then you have Athletic Bilbao and Barcelona in the Copa del Rey. A very good chance for Lionel Messi and Barcelona to get something, their hands on the trophy this year.
Yeah, for me, the English FA Cup should definitely get us talking. Chelsea and then Manchester City. Time for Thomas Tuchel to actually prove if he can, chase something with Chelsea. Manchester City, I told you the way they are playing at the moment, they're unstoppable. So that will be a good test for Pep Guardiola and his team. At the moment, I don't think Bilbao can do anything against Barcelona because Barcelona, I think they are still sad about what happened in the El Clasico against Real Madrid. So anybody that is seen, and they'll push out of the way. So all day, every day, are their favorites for me to get on with that one. Right. And when Leicester City is playing, we don't have any choice but just root for them, and I'm sure our viewers know why.
All right. Austin, I want to thank you for your time on the show. Hopefully we get to do this some other time. All right,
thank you so much. Always a delight.
Yes, that's our man, Austin Okon-Akpan. We're pressed for time. Let me start with Kingsley. In 30 seconds, those matches we listed, what do you think is going to happen? 30 seconds, by the way.
I think Chelsea is a good matchup for Manchester City. I mean, like Austin mentioned, there, Man City is playing, out of the universe right now. They're in scintillating form. Only a team like Chelsea or only Man City can stop Man City as it stands at the moment. So I'm looking forward to a really good game.
Leicester Southampton.
Leicester after brushing aside United in the FA Cup, they stand a better chance against Southampton. That has been blowing hot and cold this season, not particularly being consistent. So I think Leicester will nick this one.
All right, Alfred, quick one.
Kelechi.
So Leicester all the way.
No, Kelechi to play in the finals.
Okay. And Copa del Rey, quickly.
Barcelona.
Okay, all right, that's it.
Too good for me,
I'll leave it at that, but we'll come back next week to decide if he's right or wrong. Kingsley Udofia, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Very good debut. Hopefully we'll do this all the time.
Oh, definitely. I enjoyed my debut, and I'm looking forward to being here again.
All right, Alfred Okoligbe in the studio with us. First time in a long time. Thank you for being here.
The pleasure is mine always. Thank you very much.
All right. So that's the show today. It's the last one for the week. We do hope you enjoyed everything that we've been able to bring to you. We're back here again next week. Enjoy your weekend. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.